yes, when I came in, going out that back door. The sunrise in the east, sets in the west. Tell you now, mama, who you love best. Tell me, mama, who's that while ago? Yes, when I came in, going out that back door. What you gonna do? Tell you now, baby, we're not through. Tell me, mama, who's that while ago? Oh, yes, when I came in, who went out that back door? Sets in the west. I'll tell you now, mama, we love best. Tell me, mama, who's that while ago? Oh, yes, when I came in, who went out that back door?
And welcome to Making Music. My name is Dan Aronie. I will be your host today, and the show, as always, is sponsored by Guitar Showcase in San Jose, California. We have with us today Andy Just joining us, incredible harp player. But before we get started, I just want to introduce the band that we're going to be playing with today.
Killer guys.
Yeah, Rick Allegria on drums. Rick has played with Paul Williams, and he just got done with a show with Elvis Costello. And I know you've done some other stuff with people on American Idol and some of the stuff there. So you've been very busy this summer. And then on bass, we got Tim Allen. And Tim, of course, plays with a lot of local bands. And he's been with, what? Tell us, Tim.
What?
Switch, Element, I'll get this.
Silver Creek.
And Silver Creek. And then Tim Breen on guitar today. And he plays in the Leonard Skinner tribute band. The name of the band is Nothing Fancy. And also plays with Groove Doctors and Liquid Courage. So let's get back to Andy.
Hey.
thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure.
This is absolutely a pleasure. I've seen this on the calendar for a couple of months,
Right.
and I have just been looking forward to this. You're a monster.
That's what my wife says.
Anyway, I'm going to read a little bit from the bio that you have, and we'll show some, they'll show some of your albums that you've been on, which is over 30. You have had 30 plus albums to date. You are also currently recording harmonica sessions for the Harmonica Masterclass and Mel's Bay's Music Instruction CDs. You have students as far away as England and Japan, and you get emails from all over the world daily from a lot of these. You've also shared the stage with John Lee Hooker, Buddy Guy, Albert King, Paul Butterfield, Al Cooper, Ike Turner, Gary Smith, Tommy Castro, Charlie Musselwhite, John Mayall, Junior Wells, Maria Mulder, and locally Myron Dove, who's of course played on and off with Santana for a long time, and John Wiedermeyer, a local guy who we're going to have on the show very soon as well. We've been talking to John, and of course he's playing with Wayne Newton right now in Las Vegas. And of course you've been touring for over a decade with the Ford Blues Band.
Right.
And you've had recent releases that they've had Another Fine Day, the Ford Blues Band, a memory of Michael Bloomfield with Robin Ford and Chris Kane playing, and then Robin Ford and the Ford Blues Band, a tribute to Paul Butterfield. And then you've also had a release recently on Appaloosa Records entitled AJ and the Shapes.
Right.
And other bands that you've lent your talents to, of course, are Robin Ford, Chris Kane, Gary Smith. And then your own albums that you've had, of course, is Andy Justin the Defenders, Andy Justin the Shapes, Andy Justin the Shakedown. And if that isn't enough, you've been on films. You've scored music for Lucas's
Elmer Bernstein
and Murder in Mississippi, and you've been on TV commercials with Kellogg's and GM. And if that's not enough, you've just finished a major film released in Montreal titled Gaz Bar Blues. Wow. Whew.
Fortunate. Very fortunate.
That's pretty amazing. A lot of stuff that you've done. Now let's go all the way back though. Let's start at the beginning. How did you get started in music?
It goes back to when I was a child. My dad played chromatic harmonica, believe it or not, and my mom played accordion. So I was kind of brought up in that musical family. At that time, I was doing everything that was happening was people were learning how to play guitar. So when the Beatles hit, I started playing guitar. Didn't hit.
Now, what age were you at this time? How old were you?
Must have been about 10 years old, about 64. And from there, I started to cross over. I always played the harp, it was always there, but I never crossed over completely until I was in my teens. We used to go to De Anza College and see the Charles Ford Band, which was a deal at 50 cents.
Yeah.
You could see Robin. And
because you grew up in this area.
Yeah,
you're Cupertino, right? Yeah.
So,
now, before we go any further now, and this is just, we have the monitor is making a little bit of a buzz, and I don't want that to come through. So if Tim, if you see me out there, or Bert, get that monitor buzzed down, because I have a feeling we're going to get to the end of this, and we're going to have that monitor that's shaking this thing.
I can't
we're
hear
going to hear it, really, I know. Anyway, well, let's go back. Your roots in Cupertino.
Yes. By the time I was in high school, we started hanging around this house called the 101 Blues House. That was on Saratoga Sunnyvale Road. And people that were hanging out there was people like Charlie Musselwhite and James Cotton, Gary Smith, all these different blues celebrities. So it was kind of great being a teenager, awestruck, like, wow, I would pull up and Charlie Musselwhite would be waiting for us, back in the days when he was a little happier, which he doesn't do anymore. And we'd hang out and listen to records and play. So I was really fortunate that I was brought up in that, time frame.
Now, is this when it started to get a little bit more serious for you?
Yes, this is back in about 72, 71, 72. I was in high school. Like I said, you could see the Robin for 50 cents.
Yeah, right.
It was just great.
Right.
So I made friends with those guys,
and that's where the Ford connection started?
It started there as a friendship.
Yeah, now tell me about you've been in the Ford Blues Band for a long time, and I know Patrick's the drummer.
Right.
And Mark has played.
Mark was the harp player in the Charles Ford Band, and he He's not into that anymore. He drives a bus.
Yeah. So he's not doing music
Right.
as much.
No, not
and
as
of course,
much.
Robin, I know you've played with him many times. And,
Yeah.
and he's amazing. We've had him for
He's
a
just
clinic.
a
and
genius.
Unbelievable. Yeah,
It's just great having him.
But this is about you right now.
Yeah,
So,
it's just great having him like in my life, or
Yeah.
you know.
well, tell me, when did it go from taking it serious to first, let's say, the first big venue that you did? Can you remember what that was? Where all of a sudden you go, okay,
Yeah.
you're in front of thousands of people, and you go, okay, this is serious stuff now.
Yeah, I was shaking in my pants. We just recorded the first record that I was ever on. It was called Blue Bay, and it had Charlie Musselwhite, Gary Smith, High Tide Harris, John Lee Hooker. It was a album that had all these great blues stars at that time. And here I am, just a kid, not even 21 yet, and they asked me to play on one of the songs. So I said, of course. I was like scared, but it turned out to be a real good session and a great record too.
Yeah, and that's one of the ones we saw.
Right.
They were running that when we were doing the bio. That album
Right.
was on that. Yeah.
But that we got to do the San Francisco Blues Festival. They were pretty new at that time. They were, I think it was their 5th or 6th one. So I played my first big blues festival. I was pretty lucky. It was like great.
Yeah.
From then on, I knew, wow, this is pretty cool.
And look at all the albums since then. Yeah.
Fortunately, I thought was going to be it. I didn't know.
Well, you know what I want to do? I want to take a U-turn here. I want us to talk a little bit about harps. Here you are playing harps, and I know we talked a little bit earlier, and it is fascinating that I've always thought, well, a harp is a harp, but you have that signature tone, and you actually get your harp set up, and that was an amazing. Tell the people what's all involved. And first of all, what harp do you play most? What's the harp?
I use a marine band.
Okay, which is Hohner.
Yeah, it's a Hohner marine band. That's this little guy right here. This is a regular $20 harmonica. Get him at Showcase.
Yep, for many years.
Yeah.
But what's now? I know we brought one with some
I brought
in pieces
another one.
here. And what is this guy? Tell us about the story on this. This is amazing.
Well, there's this guy. His name is Kenya Pollard, and what he does is he takes a harmonica like this.
And this is the inner workings.
Yeah,
of
this is like all your reeds up here.
Yeah.
Your top and bottom, blow, suck and blow, and then this right here is your comb. So what he did is he made me, he wanted to know what my air pressure was in the harmonica. So what he does is he builds, see in between here there are little gaps right there.
Yeah.
And what he does is he gets the tolerances just perfect for how much pressure that I put into the harmonica.
Just by how much you're blowing.
How much pressure. It's like when you go to the doctors and you have to blow the candles out. Well, that's what he did. And he knew how much wind I had.
Right. So does he actually change any of the reeds?
Yes, he can change the reeds. Ideally, what he can do is you never have to buy a harp again. He'll change them.
Yeah.
So
And
no more. No more coming over there. But personally,
Let's show this up on the camera. We can
sure.
see there's the reeds.
So those are the reeds. And what he does is he makes the tolerances close, and he'll change the reeds.
Okay.
So that it's like a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Because right out of the box, harmonicas are good. They're making them really good, but after they're customized, it's really cool.
Yeah, and you are really known for your signature tone as well. So this
that's a
has
whole
lot to
different
do with
ballgame.
Now tell us about the mics that you're using, that you typically use for the gigs.
Well, this is a static JD30, but inside the element is a green bullet, a Shure green bullet controlled magnetic microphone. It's pretty much just like a guitar pickup. It works on the same theory of wire wrapped around a magnet. And
this is something that blues players or harp players for years have been. This is kind of like the mic.
Signature mic. This one here.
Or slight variations.
Variations, because this one stock comes with a different element. It's a crystal element, but this is more like I said. It's the element is a magnetic, so it's really hot. So what I did is I like the body, and then I put the green bullet cartridge inside, and then I put this little off-on switch.
Right.
So
And then I noticed you brought another one that weighs next to nothing. Now, what's the difference?
Feel this one.
Yeah.
Feel this one.
Oh, I know, and that's
and now
weighs
feel
at least
this
a
one right
pound.
here.
And that's half
Isn't
the
that
weight.
insane?
Yeah.
I know, it's
And
great.
look at this, it's made out of wood as well.
Right.
Yeah, that is pretty.
This is a custom-made mic
cool.
here.
Now, where
And
does this come from?
Greg Human makes them, and he has a website, www.
Well, if they ever need to get a hold of, they can email you or
Yeah.
And you know, we have your website posted on the screen. So.
Cool. But this right here is, he makes these by hand, and then he takes the controlled magnetic element and puts it in there. And he also has a volume control.
Now, what's the difference in tone then between, what do you hear as a difference
The
between the
tone
bullet
really
and this?
isn't really different at all. It's just that it feels really great.
Yeah.
It's really light, you know, and it feels good because you can really cup it really tight, which is part of, like we're talking about tone, that's very important of how you cup the microphone. Because a lot of the guys, when they play, they seem to grab the harmonica this way and then they play it like that. But what I do is I cup it so tight,
So it's almost muffled a little bit more.
so
right?
yeah, there's no pressure coming out. It's like a vacuum inside.
Okay.
And that's how I get the fat sound. So that's one of the fortes of teaching the harmonica to other people is the tone thing, not necessarily all the chops.
Yeah.
First I want them to get the tone.
Tone, right. Get
Because
that
that's the
first.
most important thing.
Oh,
Chops
okay.
come later.
Yeah. Well, enough of this. I want to see you guys play now, and we get to hear this stuff in action. So,
All right.
if you guys don't mind, let's
Yeah,
give it a
let's
whirl.
do
I'm
it.
going to get out of the way.
Okay?
Better check yourself, baby, don't know what you're doing. Better check yourself, baby, don't know what you're doing. Some little lady, ooh, there's trouble brewing. Well, I'm riding high, lying low, time for me to go. Riding high, lying low, time for me to go. Some little lady, ooh, she just don't know. Better check yourself, check yourself, check yourself, check yourself. Check yourself, baby, you don't know what you're doing. All right. Well, I'm riding high, baby, lying low. Time for me to go. Riding high, lying low. Time for me to go. Some little lady, ooh, she just don't know. Better check yourself. Check yourself. Check yourself. check yourself. Check yourself, baby, you don't know what you're doing. Ah, yeah.
Yeah, guys. All right.
Welcome
what
back
a band.
Welcome back to Making Music. Again, I'm Dan Aronie. I'm with Andy Justin. That was whopping.
It's fun.
That was good.
Great playing with these guys.
What, we played all of 5 minutes before we started that, so that is a great jam.
Great.
Anyway,
Great stuff, guys.
now
Thanks.
if people want to get some of your records, how do they go about doing it?
Well, you can still, I think, buy records at record stores or CDs.
If there's any left, right?
Yeah.
But can they go on your website and get
Yes,
records
or
through
go to
that?
Blue Rocket.
Okay.
To the Blue Rocket website to get any of those records. All the Ford stuff is on Blue Rocket.
Now, how about your records?
The new one is supposed to be released next month, the Appaloosa one.
Yeah, and what's the
AJ
name
and
of
the
that record?
It's called AJ and the Shapes,
Yeah.
and it has Phil Farrow, Lenny Campriello, Fred James, who is from the amazing Rhythm Aces, and myself. So just, hopefully
And
it's...
how long did that did that album take to take shape and get it ready for release?
It's taken a year, but as far as recording, we did it in a week.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we did it in Colorado. So it went pretty fast, and it's some good stuff.
Oh, cool.
You know,
Well, we can't wait for
It's
that.
It's some modern and some old, and, not too old. Not too old.
Well, we're going to bring up some pictures now if
Sure.
we can, and we're going to talk a little bit about those, and if we can get these on the screen and tell us about where these are at. And
That
give
was
us a
in
little
Italy.
story.
That one was in Italy in July in Brindisi. We were playing there. Just one of the outdoor festivals. We mostly did the outdoor festivals this year. That's Gary Smith on the right and Sam Varela in
And these
the
are local
middle.
guys. I've
Yeah,
seen
Gary
both those
Smith
guys in our
is the godfather of the blues harmonica scene here in San Jose. And Sammy Varela is a killer guitar player. He's played with us for years. He was in one of my bands. Very good.
Yeah. Well, I can't believe they're. You know what's happening? They're telling us we have 4 minutes left in the show.
Okay. Well, there's my wife. I know she wants
we
me to
wanted
get
to
that
make
in.
sure we got
and,
her
and
in.
she's like a singer also. She played backup singing for Paul Rogers. So, we still do a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
Blues Festival. Another shout at the Blues Festival. Chris
There's
Kane and
Chris Kane. I
I.
wanted to make sure we got a
Yeah,
picture in.
Chris
Well, we
Kane
got to
and I.
start winding on the show. I can't believe this has gone that fast.
Wow.
We got to do another show.
Sounds good to me. I mean, wow, that really went fast.
That was too fast because I wanted to go into the George Lucas connection,
Sure.
the commercials, and we're going to have to cover that another time.
Okay.
But I want to thank you for coming on the show. I want to thank
Sure.
the guys in the band, and we're going to go out with another one. And also, I want to
Okay.
thank Emerson, our engineer, Sam Carlino, our producer, Bert for doing the sound today, and again, thank you for coming on. Let's go out with a song.
Thanks, Dan.
And I appreciate it. This has been a
right.
great show. Thank you, guys.
It's been a gas.